In our previous segment, we have discussed about the digestion in case of stomach. Now, after stomach, the next part of alimentary canal in which the final steps of digestion takes place is small intestine. So, in this segment, we will discuss digestion in case of small intestine. So, the topic is digestion in small intestine. Now we know that duodenum is the smallest and the first part of small intestine, and through the duct which connect the pancreas with the liver, and that is what we call it as hepatopancreatic duct, opens into small intestine. In which part of small intestine? Of course, it is the duodenum part of small intestine. So hepatopancreatic duct, with the help of hepatopancreatic duct, the pancreatic secretions as well as secretion of liver is poured into the duodenum part of small intestine, and this pancreatic secretion, that is hepatopancreatic duct, contains, or the duct secretes its secretion or pour its secretion into the duodenum part of small intestine, and it mainly contains the digestive enzymes in its inactivated form, and through these enzymes only the process of digestion initiates in case of small intestine. Now there is one term which is used for the food which is present in the stomach. We know that there are churning movements takes place in the stomach for the time duration in which food is there in the gastric region, that is in the stomach region. And we also know that stomach secrete hydrochloric acid in high quantity, large quantity hydrochloric acid is secreted. So food is mixed with hydrochloric acid through churning movement. That semi-solid acidic food is called as chyme. So there is one definition: semi-solid acidic food is called as chyme, CHYME. And where chyme is formed, it is formed in the stomach part of the alimentary canal. Now through hepatopancreatic duct which opens in the duodenum, the enzyme secretion is poured. Now let us discuss the reactions of digestion which specifically takes place in the small intestine part of alimentary canal. And these enzymes are secreted in its inactivated form. It needs to be activated in presence of some or the other molecule. So let us discuss. The first reaction is trypsinogen is an inactive enzyme. It is converted into active trypsin in presence of molecule or one more enzyme which is called as enterokinase. So trypsinogen is inactive form of the enzyme, or it is inactive trypsin. It is activated to form the trypsin, which is activated molecule, and this reaction takes place in presence of enterokinase. So this is the active form of trypsin, that is active trypsin. Now what this trypsin will do? It will start digesting proteins. So it start digesting proteins, and the end product that is formed after this reaction is few polypeptide chains are produced. Polypeptides of smaller size, that is smaller molecular weight polypeptides are produced at the end of this reaction. Now this is protein and this is polypeptide. Both of these are protein only. This is protein. Polypeptide is also a kind of protein only. But what is the difference between polypeptide as well as protein? Protein is big in size, the molecular weight is more, as compared to polypeptide which have smaller molecular weight or smaller molecular size. So this is the first reaction that takes place in the small intestine part using enterokinase as an enzyme. So polypeptides are produced. Now let us discuss the second reaction in which these polypeptides are further degraded. So second reaction in which the polypeptide which are formed in the first reaction are utilized. Now let us see that reaction also. Second reaction is chymotrypsinogen to chymotrypsin conversion. So reaction number 2, chymotrypsinogen to chymotrypsin. And this reaction takes place in presence of trypsin molecule. So chymotrypsinogen is converted into its active form, that is chymotrypsin, in presence of trypsin molecule, what this chymotrypsin will do? It will act on these polypeptides. So it will start degrading these polypeptides to further smaller polypeptides of smaller molecular weight or smaller molecular size. So these polypeptides in presence of this chymotrypsin are broken down to produce smaller polypeptide plus few amino acids. Now, what is the difference between these smaller polypeptide and polypeptide? Nature-wise, smaller polypeptide as well as polypeptide both are protein in nature. But difference-wise, polypeptide, smaller polypeptide. This is of low molecular weight and this is of high molecular weight. That is the only difference. Now, what is these amino acids? These amino acids are the building blocks or the basic molecule by which proteins are produced. So, this is the second reaction in which chymotrypsinogen is converted into active chymotrypsin in presence of trypsin molecule, which break down this polypeptides into smaller polypeptide as well as few amino acids. Now, digestion of carbohydrates, that is polysaccharide, can also take place in the small intestine, as well as fat digestion can also be initiated. So, polysaccharides, this reaction we have already discussed in the digestion in mouth parts of alimentary canal. In presence of amylase is converted into disaccharide. And the best example is, what is the best example of polysaccharide to disaccharide conversion? Starch to maltose conversion. So example is polysaccharide, means many saccharide, many sugar molecule is what we call it as polysaccharide. Example is starch. Starch in presence of salivary amylase. If you remember this reaction, at pH of 6.8, it is converted to produce, or it is converted to disaccharide, which is called as maltose. Disaccharide means two sugar molecule. Di means two, saccharide means sugar molecule. That is two sugar molecule joined together to form one molecule of maltose. Now, which two sugar molecule? The name of the two sugar molecule is glucose. So, two such glucose molecules joined together to produce one molecule of maltose. So, this is the carbohydrate digestion that takes place in the small intestine. There can be digestion of fats, that is the lipid molecules, using enzyme lipases. Okay, using enzyme lipases, fats are also broken down. So, fats in presence of lipases. Lipids or fats, one and the same thing. Lipases, enzymes which degrade lipids. If you remember, amylases are carbohydrate splitting enzyme, carbohydrate degrading enzyme. Lipases are fats or lipid splitting or lipid degrading enzymes. So, in presence of lipids, it is converted into diglycerides, and these diglycerides are further converted into monoglycerides. So, these four reactions are the major reactions that takes place as a part of digestion in case of small intestine. Now, basically, there is one more term when we are discussing the digestion in case of small intestine is succus entericus. The term is succus entericus. SUCCUSENTERICUS. Succus entericus means what? It is nothing but intestinal juice, like pancreatic juice, gastric juice, like that. Succus entericus is intestinal juice. That is the intestine juice which is produced by the intestine part of alimentary canal or GI tract. Succus entericus has enzymes, the mainly enzymes. So succus entericus has enzymes. Succus entericus has enzymes that act on the products that are formed after the digestion in small intestine. That means whatever products, say for example diglycerides, monoglycerides, disaccharides, like that, dipeptides, polypeptides, all these products were formed in the small intestine only. Now, succus entericus, which is intestinal juice, has certain enzymes that act on the product of the digestion of small intestine. What will happen when it will act on the product of the digestion product of the small intestine? These products are further broken down to produce smaller, simpler molecules which can be easily absorbed. So this is the main function. So this has enzymes that act on the end product, that act on the products of, or let us write that act on the digested products of small intestine. Now what this will do? This will further digest into simpler molecules which are of smaller size, and these simpler molecules can be easily absorbed. So succus entericus, that is intestinal juice, as enzymes, main 4 to 5 enzymes are there. These enzymes act on the digestive products, the end product of the small intestine digestion, like dipeptides, diglycerides, polypeptides, like that. And then it will form the simpler molecules on further digestion. So these simpler molecules can be easily absorbed. That is the main purpose of digestion. That to convert complex biomolecule into simpler biomolecule using digestive enzymes, and these simpler biomolecules can be easily absorbed. Now let us discuss the reactions of the enzymes which are present in succus entericus. That is enzymes that are part of intestinal juice. 3 to 4 enzymes are there, and 3 to 4 reactions we will discuss. Now the first reaction, or let us give the title, enzymes of succus entericus. Enzymes of succus entericus. Okay. If you remember, polypeptide chain was produced in the small intestine digestion process. Polypeptide can be converted into dipeptide. So polypeptide can be converted into dipeptide. Dipeptide means only 2 peptide chains are there, 2 amino acids. So these 2 dipeptide can be further split into produce 2 amino acids using enzyme dipeptidases. Dipeptidases to produce amino acids. And the end product of protein digestion is amino acid. The end product of protein digestion is amino acid. This is very important for NEET MCQs. End product of protein digestion is amino acids. Okay, so polypeptides can be converted into dipeptide using enzymes peptidases, and these dipeptide can be converted into individual amino acid using dipeptidases. Okay. Then if you remember, starch to maltose conversion, that is using salivary amylase, polysaccharide to disaccharide. Now this disaccharide can be further broken down to produce monosaccharide also. Listen, this is polysaccharide and this is converted into disaccharide, like dipeptide. This dipeptide or disaccharide can be converted into monosaccharide also. This disaccharide can be converted into monosaccharide. Now let us see this reaction. So polysaccharide. What was the polysaccharide? Starch. Using which enzyme? Amylase. That is salivary amylase. What is the other name of salivary amylase? The another name of salivary amylase is ptyalin. But P-T-Y-A-L-I-N. Ptyalin is the another name of salivary amylase. It is converted into disaccharide, and the name of disaccharide is maltose. Maltose is a disaccharide. This maltose is converted into monosaccharides. Okay, and the monosaccharides are 2 only, that is glucose molecule that I have already discussed. So monosaccharide is glucose. Now this reaction takes place in presence of which enzyme? Maltose. maltase. ACE, anything ending with ACE is generally enzyme. Anything ending with ACE is generally enzyme in nature. So exceptions are also there, but that we will discuss in chapter number 9. Not here. So maltose in presence of maltase, MALTASE, maltose in presence of maltase is converted into monosaccharide, that is glucose. How many molecules of glucose are produced? Reduced 2 molecules. Here also 2 amino acids are produced. Okay. So let us discuss one more reaction in this series only. This is maltose, a disaccharide. There can be lactose also. Lactose, milk sugar. If you remember, lactose is generally considered as milk sugar. So maltose in presence of maltase is converted into glucose, that is monosaccharide. Lactose is also disaccharide, that is maltose. Okay, so lactose, lactase, maltose, maltase. So lactose in presence of lactase is converted into monosaccharide, monosaccharide. But which two monosaccharide? Now monosaccharides are different. Lactose molecule is produced by two monosaccharide, that is glucose and galactose. So glucose plus galactose, both are monosaccharides. Clear? We can also discuss one more example, sucrose. Sucrose is also a disaccharide. Sucrose in presence of lactose, lactase, maltose, maltase. Sucrose, sucrase. Clear? Sucrose, sucrase. So it is converted into again monosaccharide. Here also monosaccharides are different. One is glucose and another one is fructose. So one is glucose, another one is fructose. Now let us discuss one reaction for fat, that is lipid molecules also. So fifth reaction I am writing here. Di and monoglycerides which are produced at the end of the reactions of small intestine digestion. Di and monoglycerides. Di and monoglycerides in presence of lipases. Lipases, because it is a lipid digesting enzyme. Lipases is converted into fatty acid plus glycerol. So this is converted into fatty acid as well as glycerol. So this is all about the major reactions that take place as a part of digestion in case of small intestine and enzymes of Succus and Cricus. The major purpose of using Succus and Cricus enzymes is to convert the bigger molecules into smaller molecules, like dipeptide to form only amino acid, disaccharide to monosaccharides, diglycerides to fatty acids as well as glycerol, like that. And what is the purpose of converting these molecules into smaller molecules is so that it can be easily absorbed. Now say for example, let us say this glucose. This glucose is not further digested in our body, it will remain as it is in our body. It will remain as it is and it will be absorbed as it is in our body. Clear? The purpose of breakdown of lactose is to convert glucose and galactose, because glucose and galactose both are monosaccharide which cannot be further digested in our body. Same case is with this also. Clear? And same case is with this amino acids. Simplest molecule by which proteins are produced or polypeptides are produced. These amino acids are not further digested in our body, simply they are absorbed. Fatty acids and glycerol, simply they are absorbed in the bloodstream. So this is all about the path of digestion in case of small intestine. Now these end product digestion. Let us write the end product digestion for proteins, carbohydrates as well as for lipids. So product of or end products of first protein digestion. What is the end product of protein digestion? Just now we have seen amino acids. So end products of protein digestion is amino acids. Then end product of carbohydrate digestion also we can discuss. End product of carbohydrate digestion is, you can write monosaccharide or glucose, which is the most common end product. See, glucose is obtained here also also glucose is obtained. Okay, and in case of maltose also, which I have brought, in that case glucose was also present. So carbohydrate digestion end product is glucose. Then for this diamononucleoside, that is the end product of fats, all lipids digestion is fatty acids and glycerol. So end products are fatty acids and glycerol. So end products of protein digestion is amino acids. For carbohydrate digestion is this glucose, and for fats that is fatty acids as well as glycerol. Now these simpler molecules are readily absorbed in the bloodstream, and whatever undigested waste material is there, it will be temporarily stored in the rectum. Here it will be temporarily stored in the rectum, and through rectum it will reach to the anus part of the alimentary canal, and through this anus it will be removed, or it will be removed out of the body, and that is the process is what we call it as defecation. The process is what we call it as defecation, that is the removal of undigested waste fecal material from the body. So with this we complete the entire process of digestion in mouth, in gastric, that is stomach, and in small intestine. In the next part we will study about the process of absorption.